Rimuru the New Beginning as Primordial Demon Violet by Veldanava God. Chapter 18. The battle for Tempest. The skies above Tempest were dark with storm clouds, reflecting the chaos below. The once peaceful land was now in ruins, torn apart by the rampage of Veldora under Rudra's control. Flames flickered in the distance, and the ground trembled beneath the weight of the powerful magic being unleashed. Rimuru and his group had just arrived, and they could see the devastation from afar. The air was thick with tension, and everyone could feel the power of their enemies waiting for them. Rimuru narrowed his eyes as he surveyed the battlefield. His heart ached as he saw the destruction that Veldora, his friend, had caused, destruction he couldn't stop until now. Rimuru. Veldora. What have they done to you? Ultima stood beside him, her fiery eyes locked on the horizon where the Imperial Army and their commanders waited. Her bloodlust was palpable, but she knew this was a battle that needed strategy, not just raw power. Ultima. Rimuru-sama, leave me at them. I'll tear that emperor apart myself. Diablo, always composed but with a hint of excitement in his eyes, stood ready, his focus already on his target. Diablo. And I shall handle Kondu. That man's arrogance will be his downfall. Benimaru, standing slightly behind Rimuru, clenched his fists, his anger barely contained as he watched the damage inflicted on their home. Benimaru. We can't let this go on any longer, Rimuru. We have to stop them. Rimuru nodded, his decision already made. Rimuru. We will. I'll take on Velgrind and free Veldora from their control. Ultima, you take care of Rudra. He's the one behind all of this. Diablo, Kondu is yours. He's a threat we can't underestimate. Benimaru, you coordinate the defense of Tempest with our forces. Protect the civilians at all costs. Benimaru gave a sharp nod, his eyes burning with determination. Benimaru. Understood. I won't let anyone else get hurt. With their assignments clear, the group prepares for battle. The wind picked up, swirling around them as Rimuru's aura flared, his strength returning after the long journey back to Tempest. Rimuru. Let's move out. The group split off, each heading toward their respective targets. Rimuru leapt into the sky, his eyes locking onto the form of Velgrind, who hovered near the controlled Veldora. Her fiery aura burned brightly, her dragon form shimmering with raw power. Below her, Veldora rampaged, his roars echoing across the land, destructive beams of energy firing from his mouth, tearing through anything in their path. Velgrind, noticing Rimuru's approach, let out a cold laugh. Velgrind. Ah, Rimuru Tempest. Come to stop us? You're too late. Veldora is under our control now, and soon, you and your pitiful nation will be nothing but ashes. Rimuru's eyes hardened as he stopped in midair, facing her. Rimuru. You think I'll let you keep him? Veldora is my friend, and I won't stand by while you use him like a puppet. Velgrind's smile widened, and she spread her wings, the flames around her intensifying. Velgrind. You're welcome to try, but you're no match for me, Rimuru. This will be your end. With that, the two clashed, their auras colliding in a burst of energy. Rimuru, moving at blinding speed, dodged Velgrind's fiery breath, countering with a wave of magicules that aimed to disrupt the control on Veldora. Meanwhile, on the ground, Ultima had already spotted Emperor Rudra, standing at the head of the Imperial Army, his golden armor gleaming. The sight of him made her blood boil. This was the man responsible for all of this chaos. She landed with a thud, cracking the earth beneath her, and immediately charged toward him, her mana flaring like a deadly inferno. Ultima. Rudra, you'll pay for what you've done to Tempest. Rudra, his eyes cold and calculating, raised his hand, summoning a barrier of golden light to block her attack. The clash of their powers sent shockwaves through the battlefield, but Ultima was relentless. She slashed at the barrier with her claws, the air around her crackling with dark energy. Rudra, unfazed by her assault, smirked. Rudra. You think you can defeat me, little demon? I've controlled nations, destroyed kingdoms. You're just another obstacle to be crushed. Ultima snarled, her voice dripping with malice. Ultima. I'm not just any demon. I'm Ultima, and today, I'll make sure you never hurt anyone again. Her attacks intensified, each strike more powerful than the last, and the ground around them shattered from the force of their battle. At the same time, Diablo had found his target, Kondu, the general of the Imperial Army. He stood tall and imposing, his sharp eyes watching as Diablo approached with his usual calm, sinister grin. But unlike other warriors, Kondu's weapon of choice wasn't a sword. It was a sleek, polished pistol, a dangerous relic of modern weaponry infused with magic. Kondu, resting his hand on the grip of the pistol, gave a cold smile. Kondu. You're the one they call Diablo, aren't you? I've heard stories of your power. They say you can obliterate anyone who stands in your way. Let's see if that holds true against this. With a smooth, calculated motion, he drew his pistol and fired several shots toward Diablo. The bullets glowed with enchanted energy, each one a deadly projectile aimed with precision. Diablo, still grinning, raised a hand. The bullets slowed midair, their momentum snuffed out by Diablo's dark magic. Diablo. A pistol, Kondu. How quaint. I wonder how long you'll last before I tire of this game. Kondu's eyes narrowed, and without hesitation, he fired again, this time imbuing his shots with even more power. The bullets whizzed toward Diablo, but the demon butler dodged effortlessly, moving like a shadow, always one step ahead of the attack. Kondu, reloading his pistol with a single, smooth motion, continued his barrage, but as the fight wore on, it became clear that Diablo was merely toying with him. Kondu. You talk too much for a servant. Let's see if you can keep dodging this. He fired a special shot, the bullet infused with a time-stop spell. The moment it left the barrel, everything around them froze in place. The wind, the dust. Even Diablo's movements ceased for a fraction of a second. But to Kondu's shock, Diablo smiled, moving freely within the stopped time. Diablo, his voice calm but filled with menace, said softly, "Ah, time magic. Impressive, but not enough." He reached Kondu in an instant, slamming the pistol out of the general's hand and sending him flying backward with a powerful kick. The battlefield of Tempest crackled with energy. High above the chaos, Rimuru Tempest stood, facing off against the fearsome Velgrund, the Scorched Dragon, and his longtime friend, Veldora, now bound by the oppressive control of the Regalia Dominion. The situation was dire. Veldora's destructive power had already leveled large parts of the land, and Velgrund's flames threatened to consume all in their path. Despite the overwhelming odds, Rimuru remained calm. His mind raced, calculating every possible solution. Velgrund hovered in the sky, her fiery wings spread wide, a smirk playing on her lips. She looked down at Rimuru with arrogance. Velgrund, foolish slime, you still think you can free Veldora? The Regalia Dominion binds his very soul. He is ours now. Not even you can break that bond. Rimuru's eyes glinted with determination. He knew he had to take drastic action. Veldora's fate was at stake, and he wasn't about to let his friend suffer under Rudra and Velgrund's control. Rimuru. Veldora. Hang in there, I'll get you out of this. With a swift motion, Rimuru raised his hand, gathering his immense magical energy. But he wasn't going to attack Velgrund. Instead, he had a different plan, a desperate one. Rimuru. Seal, I need your help. If we can't sever the connection to Veldora, there's only one option left. Seal, his partner and true mind within him, responded instantly. Seal. Understood, Master. We will absorb Veldora into your body. This will temporarily shield him from the Regalia Dominion's effects. Velgrund's eyes narrowed as she sensed the massive buildup of energy within Rimuru. She could feel that something was wrong, but it was already too late. With a flash of movement, Rimuru extended his body and enveloped Veldora, absorbing him into his own being. Veldora's roar echoed through the air, but within moments, he was pulled entirely into Rimuru's body, leaving only the Scorched Dragon in the sky. Velgrund's eyes widened in disbelief. Velgrund. What have you done? As Rimuru absorbed Veldora, a powerful transformation began. His magicules surged, flooding his body with unimaginable power. The very essence of Veldora, the power of a true dragon, combined with Rimuru's already overwhelming strength, pushed him past his limits. Rimuru's body glowed with radiant energy, his form shimmering as his evolution began. The air crackled with tension as Rimuru transcended his previous form, becoming something more, something ultimate. Seal. Evolution to the ultimate slime race confirmed, Master. Your strength will now rival that of a true dragon." As Rimuru evolved, the magic that bound Veldora began to dissolve. The Regalia Dominion couldn't hold a being as powerful as Rimuru, especially with Veldora now fully integrated into his essence. The connection shattered, and Veldora was finally free. With a wave of his hand, Rimuru released Veldora back into the world. The massive dragon appeared beside him, his eyes clear, no longer under Rudra's or Velgrin's control. Veldora, shaking his head, let out a relieved sigh. "Veldora. Rimuru. You did it. I knew you wouldn't let them keep me locked up." Rimuru smiled, his new power radiating from him. "Rimuru. Welcome back, Veldora. Sorry about absorbing you like that." Veldora grinned, clearly unbothered by the whole ordeal. "Veldora. Hey, no problem, that was pretty cool actually." But there was no time to celebrate. Velgrind, now furious, unleashed a torrent of flames toward them both, her anger boiling over. "Velgrind. You think this changes anything? I'll burn you both to ashes." Rimuru raised his hand, effortlessly blocking the incoming flames with a barrier of pure energy. His new powers made Velgrind's attacks feel like nothing more than a warm breeze. Rimuru smirked. "Rimuru, Velgrind, it's over, you've lost." He shot forward, faster than Velgrind could react, and struck her with a powerful blast of magic, sending her spiraling through the sky. Velgrind crashed into the ground with a deafening roar, but before she could recover, Rimuru was already upon her. "Rimuru. You're powerful, Velgrind, but you're not unstoppable." With another swift motion, Rimuru unleashed a devastating attack, engulfing Velgrind in a massive explosion of energy. The scorched dragon let out a scream of pain as the force of the attack overwhelmed her, leaving her defeated and weakened. Rimuru stood over her, his aura still flaring, but his eyes softened. "Rimuru. I won't kill you, Velgrind, but stay out of Tempest from now on." Velgrind, barely conscious, could only glare up at him, knowing she had been beaten. Her body shimmered as she retreated, vanishing into the distance. With Velgrind out of the way, Rimuru turned his attention back to the ongoing battle between Ultima and Rudra. Meanwhile, Ultima was locked in a fierce battle with Rudra, the Emperor of the Eastern Empire. His golden armor gleamed as he stood tall, radiating an aura of command and power. Ultima's attacks were relentless, her dark energy swirling around her as she launched strike after strike, each one aimed at tearing Rudra apart. But the Emperor was no easy target. His mastery of his own Castell Guard allowed him to defend himself against Ultima's devastating blows, though the strain was beginning to show. Rudra, his voice calm but with a hint of strain, called out. "Rudra. You're powerful, demon, but you cannot defeat me. I am the Emperor, and this world bends to my will." Ultima, grinning with malicious intent, circled him, her bloodlust rising. "Ultima. You talk a lot for someone who's about to die. I've been waiting for a fight like this. Let's see how long you can keep that confidence." Her claws extended, glowing with dark energy, and she lunged at him again, aiming for his throat. Rudra raised a shimmering golden barrier just in time, but Ultima's claws pierced through it, grazing his armor. Rudra stepped back, his eyes narrowing. "Rudra. Impressive, but this fight is far from over." He raised his hand, summoning a massive sword of light, which he swung toward Ultima. The ground beneath them cracked as the force of the attack sent shockwaves through the battlefield. But Ultima, always agile, dodged the strike with ease, her body flickering as she teleported behind him, slashing at his back. Rudra grunted as the blow landed, but he quickly turned, countering with another powerful blast of light. The two clashed again, their powers causing explosions of energy with every strike. As they fought, Diablo faced off against Kondu, the Imperial General. Diablo moved with elegance and grace, his dark magic swirling around him as he dodged Kondu's pistol shots with ease. Kondu's face remained calm, but sweat began to bead on his forehead as he realized he was outmatched. Kondu, his voice steady, but with a hint of frustration, spoke as he fired off another shot. "Kondu. You demons are persistent, I'll give you that. But you're underestimating the Empire." Diablo, smirking as he caught the bullet between his fingers, replied smoothly. Diablo. "Oh, I never underestimate my opponents. I simply enjoy watching their futile attempts to stop me." With a flick of his wrist, Diablo sent the bullet flying back at Kondu, forcing the general to dodge. The battle between the two continued, but it was clear Diablo had the upper hand. As the battles raged on, Rimuru stood at the edge of the battlefield, his eyes scanning the chaos. With Veldora freed and Velgrand defeated, the tide of battle had turned in Tempest's favor. He could see Ultima pushing Rudra to his limits, her relentless assault slowly wearing him down. Diablo was toying with Kondu, the general's confidence beginning to crack under the pressure. Rimuru, his voice calm but filled with authority, called out to his allies. Rimuru! Finish it! Ultima grins wickedly, her eyes locking onto Rudra as she prepares her final attack. Gathering all of her dark energy, she launched a massive wave of destructive power towards the Emperor. Ultima! This is the end for you, Rudra! The blast hit him with full force, shattering his armor and sending him crashing to the ground. Rudra, barely able to move, gasped for breath as Ultima stood over him, victorious. Ultima, her voice dripping with satisfaction, spoke softly. Ultima! You were fun to play with, but now you're done. Rudra's eyes flickered with defeat, but before he could respond, he lost consciousness. Diablo finished his battle with Kondu, sending the general crashing to the ground with a final, elegant strike. The battlefield grew quiet as the last of the Empire's forces fell. Rimuru looked at his allies, his heart swelling with pride. Rimuru! We've won. But this isn't the end, there's more to come. Let's return to Tempest. With their enemies defeated and the war at a temporary standstill, Rimuru and his companions began their journey back to Tempest, knowing that even greater challenges await them in the future.